Hello and welcome back to Poems in the Potting Shed. It's October half term here in Warncliffside, which means that Halloween hijinks are in full swing. But before we go on a ghost hunt, did you remember to turn your clocks back at the weekend?
The clocks leap forward in the spring and fall back in October. We lose an hour each March it seems, but gain when summer's over. What happens to that hour we've lost? Does it hang around, waiting for the autumn months to suddenly be found? I could have used that extra hour, you will appreciate, because you see, the thing with me is I am always late.
It's true, I am always late. Now, here is the first of 3 ghostly poems that I recently wrote for the Frights of Abraham, a ghost hunt taking place in Matlock Bath in Derbyshire.
Rumblin' Roop was a miner. He worked in the lead mines right here. From the age of 6 to 35, he dug in these caverns each year. Poor Roop wasn't paid that much money, a couple of pennies or so, but he loved working here with his brothers and loved eating food, don't you know. His mum was a cook up at Chatsworth. She pinched a few cakes every week, then popped them in Roop's little snap tin to eat in the mines on his break. By the time of his 35th birthday, Roop was a quite portly chap, fatter than all t'other miners, chubby beneath his flat cap. His tummy would rumble like crazy, so he ate even more every day. His workmates said, "Roop's always eating, he'll explode in those mines," they would say. Then one day, after his mother stole a huge chocolate cake full of fudge, Roop slipped and got stuck in the caverns. Trapped there, he just couldn't budge. They tried to use pulleys and donkeys to haul the poor lad safely free. But Roop, well, he just wasn't moving. He's still there between you and me. The miners have long since departed, replaced by the tourists and show. But sometimes you will hear him rumble from deep in the shaft down below.
Poor old rumbling Roop. Now, although that story is in fact made up, I bet there really were some scary moments for the miners that used to work underneath Masson Hill. Now, the second poem is sort of based on a true fact. On the other side of the hill to the heights, there stands Ryber Castle, and this castle once housed a zoo of wild and exotic animals, and one day they really did escape.
Once upon some years ago, a zoo on yonder hill, full of wild exotics and a famous lynx, until the wild cat escaped one night and terrorised the town, eating all the farmers' sheep and deer owned by the crown. A local group of village folk with pitchforks, nets and sticks set out to catch the wild cat and stop his wicked tricks. On Masson Hill, under the moon, they waited for the beast to drag him back up to the zoo so he could be released. A brave and strong young fellow by the name of Billy Peck jumped upon the creature, but it turned and bit his neck. Young Bill was carried down the slope, but late next afternoon there was a transformation at the rising of the moon. Thick hairs grew upon his hands, lynx ears on his head. He howled and bent his arching back. His eyes turned fiery red. His teeth grew long and pointed. Nails turned into claws. He jumped out of the window and raced off on the moors. The wild cat was never seen, and Billy never found. So take care here at Halloween, in case they're both around.
Today's final poem tells the story of the White Lady of Masson Hill. Now, again, although it's a made-up story, when you're stood on the top of that tower, looking through the mist across the valley, it's not hard to believe in ghosts.
Once upon a winter's night, under moonlit cover, a local lass climbed Masson Hill to meet her secret lover. They planned to meet upon the tower, then run away that night. But as she reached the colder heights, the frost began to bite. She waited as the snowflakes fell. Where could her lover be? Well, he was in the tavern with a tankard on his knee. While she was freezing on the hill, he drank and fell asleep. The snow became a blizzard, drifting round the tower deep. Next morning, as the man awoke, his memory returned. He dashed through the snowdrifts, now worried, now concerned. But as he reached the tower top, he saw a dreadful sight. His lover, standing deathly still, had frozen overnight. And now each year at Halloween, if snow falls on this hill, you may just see her on this tower, waiting for him still.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those spooky tales, and thank you very much for joining me in the potting shed this week. And if you liked the sound of what you heard and you'd like to hear the rest of the ghost stories or see some of the locations that featured within them, then this week head to the Frights of Abraham in Matlock Bath in Derbyshire, and you can surround yourself with ghost stories in that 60-acre estate. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
A little place of poetry, with warmth on every page, a rhyming place most notably made for the modern age. Follow David's Poems on Facebook or visit the website www.davidspoems.co.uk.